All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us, especially those of you virtually. I'm Patrick Mullen, the Director of Opportunity Zones and Financial Incentives at the Utah Association of Counties, and we're just delighted to be here today. We're joined by Scott Turner from the White House Opportunity Zone Revitalization Council, Joe Frashone and Clay Tufts from EDA, and a handful of other guests that you'll see as we go throughout the press conference here. But I just wanted to take a minute and really recognize this is the culmination of 2 years of incredible collaboration from the private, public, and philanthropic sectors. And to be here in Brigham City in the Union Block building, which we'll hear from Dave Walker and give him the ability to kind of amplify this story, it's just been an incredible journey and really an incredible partnership between Sorenson Impact and the Utah Association of Counties in collaboration with our state legislature, the governor's office, and now, of course, the EDA and the White House. So with that in mind, it would be a shame if I didn't recognize our hosts. We'll give Dave and his wife Donna the chance to tell you about the building, but our hosts here in Brigham City, I know we were going to be joined by Mayor Vincent. I think we have all three commissioners, Commissioner Hadfield, Commissioner Scott, and Commissioner Summers. And we've got State Senator Sandel, who also serves this district in addition to the federal delegation that we'll cover. So we just wanted to really say thank you and welcome to this. And with that in mind, Commissioner Summers, I know you wanted to come say a few words. We're hosted here in your backyard, and you'll introduce Dave, and he'll tell us about the building.
He said a few, so that's about it. Welcome to downtown Brigham City in beautiful Box Elder County, northern Utah. We're not southern Idaho, but we are in the best place in the world. And it wouldn't happen if people we didn't have like UAC and like Patrick just said. It's a collaboration between a lot of us, and we'd like to thank the administration for looking out for rural communities throughout not only Utah, but throughout the United States. It's amazing to think that we have partners that will reach down as far as a lowly county commissioner and be able to know what they're doing. So no further ado, we're going to introduce you to one of our small business owners, Dave Walker, and he can tell you a little bit more about the stories. And honestly, rural America would not work without people that wanted to step out and do these type of things. So Dave Walker, tell us about what's going on.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Welcome to the 1892 Union Block building, listed on the National Register of Historic Places and Brigham City's first drinking establishment and the birthplace of Utah's famous Fruitway on Highway 89. That's a story in and of itself that we don't have time for. My name is David Walker. My delightful and beautiful and talented wife, Donna, is in the back of the room. She's the genius behind the design and arrangements here. We are just delighted to host this event today and be a small part of this story. I would like to recognize many people who have helped us along our journey. The Mayor Vincent, I think he'll be here shortly, and the city of Brigham. Brigham City has been very helpful in our journey, their departments and their committees and the help they've provided. We're really grateful for Box Elder County, the county commissioners, with a special shout out to Mitch Sundel, who actually introduced us to Sorenson Impact and helped us get connected with this process. The State Historic Preservation Office has been a great resource technically and otherwise to help us in creating our restoration plan and getting our nomination and plan submitted to the National Park Service. And of course, Sorenson Impact for their connecting us and connecting all the pieces together. I don't have time to tell you about the entire story of Union Block, but I can tell you what we've learned in the process of revitalizing this. And that is that this kind of effort is a public and private partnership. It can't work any other way. It's led by individuals, nonprofits, and groups that have the boots on the ground and the passion and the connection to the local community. It's supported by local government with their infrastructure and with their support mechanism, and then it's incentivized by federal policy such as opportunity zones and historic tax credits, both of which are part of this project. So what we've learned is that with the Union Block project, We learned about this Union Block project through our efforts, volunteer efforts, as the volunteer directors of Historic Downtown Brigham City, which is the Main Street program here in Brigham City. We then partnered with the city and the county through various committees and planning sessions and consults from people on the outside to get direction and focus. But ultimately, it was the incentives provided by the Opportunity Zone and historic tax credits that led an investor to us to help capitalize and fund this project and see it to completion. So again, thanks to all of you who have been part of this and part of helping rural Utah revitalize itself. It's an important work, and we thank you for what you're doing.
As few as 5 cities in the country have driven the entire economic recovery since the financial crash. But it's been tough on a lot of small communities. As a captain for one of the major airlines, I would pass over some little town in Nebraska or Iowa. I mean, we've got an entire country here that could be contributing to the economy. There's got to be a way to make that happen. We all kind of long for this small town America. But it's tough. Small towns are disappearing in our country. Brigham City has a real sense of community here. Unfortunately, we've got a lot of businesses and buildings that are in pretty tough shape.
Businesses are struggling, doing a lot of people like crazy. And so Brigham City kind of started,
So I was really excited when we learned about Opportunity Zone by incentivizing the $6 trillion of potential capital gains available in this country. You help connect the capital that's needed to these smaller communities.
you need walk buildings out there for about 3 years or so. They can suck in air out of the town.
It's been this landmark icon property looking over Main Street for all those generations. You just can't doze it and put something else up and expect to have the same sense of community. So we approached the owners and said, look, we would like to try to develop this, but we don't have all of the capital that's needed. So we put together the Opportunity Zone Fund.
You do have people that are negative, like, well, why are you doing this? This town isn't ever going to be anything. But we don't believe that that's true.
Several people have said it. You guys just need to doze this place and start over because what are you doing? But we started working through how we could use the building and try to add some value. And our dream is to have a really vibrant historic district where you can walk to the grocery store, to the theater, to a restaurant. You don't have to be a bazillionaire to participate in this opportunity zone. We need to raise another probably 250, 300,000 we'll be able to finish this building. We're going to have probably a 6 or 7% cash on cash rate of return, and that's before any tax incentives. Brigham City, it's an authentic small town. Just needs to be preserved and somebody's got to do it.
It's changed a lot because of people that are trying to get our downtown infrastructure.
The opportunity zones represent more value than the New Deal, which was a huge economic force for building this town. We do so much of our work now in a connected world. There's no reason why small towns can't, with the right infrastructure investments, be amazing places to live and very productive places economically.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Grant Baskerville. I'm a manager at the Sorenson Impact Center, which is based at the David Eccles School of Business at the University of Utah. It's a real honor and privilege to be with you here today. I just want to wholeheartedly thank Dave and Donna Walker. We've known them for the best part of 18 months, and when we first visited this development, Dave was literally rebuilding and sanding the very floors that we're on, and look at this fantastic space that we're able to enjoy as part of this. Thank you. As part of what is a really exciting announcement and collaboration between our partners, the Utah Association of Counties, and also our generous funders, the Economic Development Administration, and also the Governor's Office for Economic Development at the state of Utah. So if I may, I don't want to speak too much. I would love to welcome Joe Frashone, who's the Director of External Relations at the Economic Development Administration. We've known Joe for probably more than 12 months now, have been sharing the details of this project, and he's been a big supporter from the outset. So it's a real honor and privilege to have him here today. Joe, if you'd like to come up.
Thank you, Grant, and good morning, everyone. Thank you also, Dave and Donna. I love your spirit, love what you're doing here and your vision for this property. It's exactly what we talk about when we talk about opportunity zones. So looking around the room and seeing all these distinguished guests is a sign to me that I need to speak quickly and sit down. And I'm going to speak faster than I usually do because we have a very special guest here with us this morning, and it's not me, so I'm going to get on with it. My job this morning is to introduce my dear friend and hands down America's biggest opportunity zone champion, Mr. Scott Turner, who's here to share some very exciting news with us. But before I do, I want to say a few words about opportunity zones. During my time at the Department of Commerce, I've met countless incredible people across this great country of ours who work and live in opportunity zones and who are working to advance President Trump's Opportunity Zone initiative. And as you heard and see, many of them are in this room right now. I've been to more than 30 states, some of them numerous times, including Utah, to help put this effort forward. And it doesn't tire me out, it energizes me. And so too is my colleague, Clay Tufts. Where's Clay? Clay, thank you for your service and all you do for the Department of Commerce and the administration. You're a valued colleague, and we couldn't do any of this without you. So during some of these visits, I've also had the opportunity to announce EDA grants of all scopes and sizes. And each grant is really unique to the community that works so hard to secure funding from the federal government. It's a black box. It's not easy to do. To help change the economic development trajectory or further advance a development issue they've been working on to achieve in the community for some time. And I think Dave and Donna are really good examples of that. And many of these EDA grants have gone to opportunity zones. In fact, to date, EDA has invested nearly $738 million in 500 opportunity zone projects across the country. Again, that's worth repeating. It's nearly $738 million in 500 opportunity grants projects across the country. It's an incredible amount of your tax dollars smartly invested. It sounds even more impressive when you say nearly $750 million. Tesla's line, my son, who's 11, he said, "Dad, you got to say nearly $750 million." So every single one of these dollars and projects will contribute to transforming our country's most distressed communities, hands down. So what Scott is about to announce is a major part of this effort, and it's the first of its kind grant from EDA. And I know I plan to work day in, day out to have it emulated in opportunity zones across rural America. And knowing the grantees, I'm also confident they will do the same. So if you can't tell, I'm passionate, I'm beyond proud of the Department of Commerce Opportunity Zone work and to play a role and be part of the President's Opportunity Zone initiative, which brings me to Scott. So everyone has fears, myself included. I'm man enough to admit them, and nearly everyone knows of FDR's quote, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." Well, I'm here to tell you there's another thing to fear, and that's speaking after Scott. For those of you who had the opportunity to hear Scott speak earlier this morning and before, you know what I mean. For those of you who have not heard him speak, get ready. He's a force of nature and one of the most inspirational people I know. So Scott Turner is currently the executive director of the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council. He's a fourth-generation Texan who played football at Pierce High School in Richardson, Texas. He was a quarterback for the University of Illinois, where he graduated with a degree in speech communications, and he was a defensive back in the National Football League for 8 seasons. Scott also served in the Texas House of Representatives, representing District 33 from 2013 to 2017. He's also a successful businessman. In April 2019, President Trump appointed Scott to serve as the council's first executive director. Like President Trump, Scott is passionate about revitalizing distressed American communities and focusing investment where it has not been made in a very long term. So Scott will share some of that passion and some great news with you, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning. All right. Well, thank you, Joel. I really appreciate that. And I'm just so happy to be here in Brigham City with you all. And I do have a couple of notes because I don't want to miss anything because this is very, very important. And David and Donna or Mr. and Ms. Walker, thank you for having us. Thank you for hosting our convening today. And I was really inspired by the video and by your remarks and seeing you actually hold tools and use tools and be on your hands and knees to bring revitalization to this historic building. It's very encouraging, and also it was very challenging even for me. Because oftentimes we can talk about things, but talk is cheap. When you actually see people putting their hand to the plow and doing the work, that's very encouraging. And so, Mr. and Ms. Walker, thank you. And I think we should give them a round of applause. Well, it's great to be here, and I'm glad to be here with my colleagues, Clay and Joel, who are doing a tremendous job to travel 30 states with the EDA and the Department of Commerce is no small feat. And I do understand the sacrifice that you all have made, and so I'm happy to be here with you, gentlemen. I'm grateful to be here, too, in Utah. This is my first time in Utah, and I've enjoyed it greatly. And when I asked the Uber driver probably 35 questions in 30 minutes. And so I know he was glad when I got out of his car. But anyway, I'm glad to be here in Utah with such great people, and even the leadership that is here. You men and women that are here, the prominent leaders of this state and this region, thank you all for being here. And Mr. Randall, Dean Randall from the Congressional District, thank you, sir. And Congressman Bishop, thank you for your service to our great country and to Utah. We really appreciate your leadership, sir. And also my friend Jeff Davis. Jeff and I had a tremendous interview earlier this morning together. And Jeff, thank you so much for your leadership and for your heart for Utah, your heart for people in our country. So thank you so much for having me. And Patrick and Brandy with the Utah Association of Counties, thank you all for what you are doing. I look forward to hearing from you. And to all of our elected officials, myself being a former elected official, thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your service and for your fortitude, for I know it is always not easy to be a public servant. Commissioners and senator and congressmen and all of you and our community and education leaders, thank you all for being here. And I want you all to know this is just not an event for me. When I tell you thank you, I really mean thank you, because I personally understand your sacrifice and I understand the work that you do. And so with a heartfelt thanks, I really want to send my appreciation to what you ladies and gentlemen do on a daily basis. And to the Brigham City Opportunity Zone Impact video that I referenced earlier, I hope that you all saw and heard when Mr. Walker said, this is really possible. Because it is. And we're living witness to it today, that this is not only possible, but it's necessary. The rural counties and the rural towns of America are so vitally important to the sustainability, the generational impact, the economic impact, the social impact of America. And so thank you for showing that video and the stand in the Union Block building. Today is a great privilege for me. This is historic, and I'm glad you utilize the historic tax credits and that the capital stack is what it is. So thank you for explaining that to us. And I hope that this could be as an example in rural America to what can happen in opportunity zones. Joel said that I serve as the executive director of the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council, and I do. But I like to say I'm the steward of this council, really the head coach of this team. Last April 2019, when the president appointed me to lead this council, he said, Scotty, whatever you need, we will support you, because this is a big mission. When I was studying the council prior to receiving this job and studying the mission of this, I knew this was not a government program, but this is indeed a mission. It is an initiative that shall far outlast all of us. The Opportunity Zone tool is a tool that, when used properly, can bring about generational impact that can literally touch millions of Americans for many years to come. And they asked me, they said, Scotty, what do you need to be successful in this? I said, I need a team. Only one individual. If you're just an individual, you can only do so much. When I played football, there was 11 men in that huddle. I was just one of 11. And you're only as strong as your weakest link. Every team is as strong as its players, as its people, as its coaches. And we have a tremendous team at the White House Opportunity and Revitalization Council. That's 8 agencies, 15 domestic, 3 state and regional partners, but every person that serves on the opportunity counts, because you're talking about serving the least of these in America. Communities that have been underserved, people that have been underserved for generations, no impact, no investment of any kind. I've been all over this country to over 70 cities, rural, tribal, and urban. And I've seen poverty, y'all, in ways I've never seen it before. And one thing I learned about poverty, it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't care. Poverty doesn't care what your political party is. It doesn't care your socioeconomic background, where you went to school, who your parents are. Poverty affects all of us, either directly or indirectly. Can I get a witness from anybody? Poverty is real. And I say that because when you look at revitalization, what does revitalization mean? It means to bring new life. It means to imbue with new energy. And that's why we're here today. That's why we're in this historic site today. That's why these men and women serve today. That's why the Sorenson Impact Center is what it is, because we want to bring new life to places that have not seen it in a long time. And that's why I'm here. And so thank you for having me. And the president is real about opportunity zones. He checks all the time. How's it going? If you hear any of his speeches, he always talks about opportunity zones because it's not a program. This is a real mission. Dr. Ben Carson, whom I serve with on a daily basis, is serious and heartfelt about serving distressed communities. He came from inner city Detroit. And there's so many more examples in the administration like this. This is a real issue for the party. We care about people. And that's why I'm standing here. I'm going to move on because I know I'm talking about. But I say all that so you know what my heart is for this. And I hope we're able to come back again. The spirit of this council and the spirit of the law is economic development and social impact. And that's what's going on here today. And so I thank you for having the right heart and the right mindset. As Joel mentioned, the key partner is the Economic Development Administration, part of the Department of Commerce. And the Opportunity Zone Initiative would not be as strong as it is without the EDA. And Joel said $739 million, almost $750 million that have been invested into Opportunity Zone. Y'all, that's real money. That's real infrastructure. That's real projects. That's real business that's going on around our country. Sorry about that. The flowers messing with me. But today, I'm here because we have an announcement. And I'm honored to be with my friends from the EDA to make this announcement. And I'm pleased to tell you today that the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration is awarding a $399,804 CARES Act Recovery Assistance Grant to the Sorenson Impact Center at the University of Utah and the Utah Association of Counties to create the Rural Opportunity Zone and Recovery Playbook that will support local efforts to drive capital investment into Utah communities. And so almost $400,000 grant we are announcing and awarding today. And so with that, and one thing we want to say is that there's a $150,000 match from state funds, which is very important. And so if we could just give a big round of applause for this announcement today. The playbook will assist 5 Utah Economic Development Districts serving 21 counties in providing dedicated training and support to rural Utah, encompassing 16 opportunity zones. Y'all, this is a big deal. And so thank you to the Sorenson Impact Center, and thank you to the Utah Association of Counties for your thoughtfulness, for your leadership, and for your collaboration. And I also want to acknowledge the regional planning efforts of Southeastern Utah Association of Local Governments, 6 County Association of Local Governments, the 5 County Association of Governments, the Bear River Association of Government, and the Utah Basin Association of Governments. Thank you so much. We look forward to working with all of you. And I send greetings from the president, from Dr. Carson, and from all of those involved. And thank you for having us. Congratulations to you. And we look forward to partnering with you in the future. So God bless you. Thank you.
Wow, Joe, you weren't lying when you said that it's not the best choice to follow Scott. Thank you so much for your kind words. It means a huge amount to us. And again, thank you to our partners. This is a project that we're really, really passionate about. Being able to support rural communities in our own backyard in Utah is a great source of pride, and to partner with an organization like the Utah Association of Counties, who have got such deep roots here and such fantastic expertise in the areas of economic development, I think it's really exciting what we're going to work on over the next course of the next 2 years. If I may, I'd now like to introduce Jeff Davis. He's the CEO of the Sorenson Impact Center, our boss. As I mentioned, the Sorenson Impact Center is a think tank based at the University of Utah, the David Eccles School of Business. Jeff, if you wouldn't mind coming up and saying a few words.
Okay, first of all, I'm not the boss. I'm just here working with some great people. Secondly, wow, does Scott care? Can I get a witness on that? Did you feel that? Thank you, Scott, for your amazing leadership on this. I'm excited at the same time to be a part of this initiative, as well as the Utah Governor's Office of Economic Development for this chance and the vote of confidence, not in us. We're the servants. But in the counties, in the businesses, in and the others all around who are going to drive this revitalization, this recovery, this equitable recovery that we're going to all go through here. I'm grateful to be joined by my colleagues from the center. You've heard from Grant, Sebs as well as 2 of our amazing students, Brent McDonald and May Smith, who are students with us at the university, the center there. We are all collectively committed to a fairer, equitable, resilient recovery from COVID that will emerge stronger from this. We've seen our country and our counties and our people do this in the past, and we'll do it again. We're confident on that. Also, like all of you, are me in the Bay Area to start a tech company. And I believe that manufacturing in this country has a future, a tech-enabled, resilient recovery. I believe that small businesses are the backbone of the economy. I believe that factually and from the data, but more importantly, I believe it from the people. And as you walk down the streets and you see what's really going on, the backbone of the communities. I also believe that investors are looking for something more, that many of them are not just looking for more money anymore. They want their money to have meaning. And like Scott said and Joel said, this economic initiative, the opportunity zones and others, just tools to enable that, to enable investors to help their money have meaning and be a part of this resilient recovery that we're going to go through. Utah, as you know, has a long history of ownership and get it done and get out there and do it well, and that will serve us well as we go through this. Because Scott and Joel have mentioned, we believe this is a great test ground for this playbook, for us to develop this playbook together. What can we do and how can we do it? How can we drive investment to save jobs, create jobs, start new businesses, and do it in a resilient way, but also do it in an equitable way? Equitable, like Scott was saying, equitable across all, wherever the divisions are, across race, across where you live, across zip code, across whatever it is. We think this is an opportunity to do that. You've heard a little bit about what it means. We're going to be creating an investment pipeline. We're going to be able to making it easier for the companies to grow. We're going to try to help communication among government agencies, like UOC has already been doing. We think all of that will help drive regional growth and prosperity here, serve as a model for the rest of this great country that can be used otherwise, like a good playbook can. This is a tall order. It's a lot to ask. It seems very ambitious, but so does this building. When it was derelict and sucking the air, like we heard in the video, sucking the air out of Main Street. And it took the Walkers to have a vision with some infrastructure help to create what we're doing here now. We think this is the small microcosm of what not only awaits us here in Utah, but the country as a result of all these efforts together. So as you can tell, I'm not quite as amazing as Scott is, but I'm excited. We're excited. We're all in this together. And we look forward to doing what we can together. I'm going to turn it back to Patrick to lead us on.
Well, thank you, Jeff and Grant, and thank you again, Scott. You truly are a hard act to follow, and we're glad to have you here in Utah today. My phone has been blowing up saying thank you for bringing Scott Turner to Utah. What an inspirational speech, so we really appreciate it. You mentioned the state match funding, and I wanted to take a minute before I introduce our next two speakers in Brandy Grace, the CEO of UAC, and Val Hale, who leads our Governor's Office of Economic Development, to just give a little bit of background and context as to really the vision it took from both of those organizations to really catalyze this entire process. It was something that when the Opportunity Zone legislation passed, there's a gentleman who's not with us today, wishes he could be, and Jim Sorenson, who our state is very fortunate to have, and who is the endowed chair in Sorenson Impact, and he, is someone who really helped get the state at the forefront of opportunity zones, helped me learn everything I know about that. I had the privilege of working there for nearly 8 years. And when it became a thing, our governor's office was saying, how do we take advantage of this? We really need to plug someone in who can represent both the private and the public side. And we started formulating who would those organizations be. And I think in what was, I'll let Val speak to it, a rather unique grant application, they went out and allowed the Association of Counties to buy into that and kind of involve myself and bring Sorenson on the other side to say, look, we want to bring a true collaboration that we haven't seen at any level like this across the state. And I think I want to give special recognition to Senator Sandel, who is back here, who's also local to this area. I know he represents this area in our state Senate. And after our first year of saying, what is this crazy experiment, we really went to the legislature and had the pleasure of someone with the visionary leadership of Senator Sandel to step up and say, let's not just put $150,000 of one-time match funding to this. Let's do $150,000 of ongoing annual funding so that we keep this going and we keep it moving. So it really is a great collaboration, and I'd love to invite Val and Brandy up here now to say a few words and tell you about kind of our role in this process.
Thank you, Val. Thank you, Patrick. I came excited for today, and I'm inspired. This is so exciting, and I'm very, very grateful to be a part of it. I think it's been repeated many times today. We've talked about partnerships and teamwork, and that's what I came here today intending to do. Was I wanted to make sure and highlight the partnerships that we have at the Association of Counties that I feel honored to be a part of and excited for what we've been able to accomplish. As Patrick mentioned, certainly Senator Scott Sandel, who we approached earlier this year after the initial one-year grant funding had expired and wanted to continue our work on opportunity zones. He championed that for us. We then were able to use that in leveraging the state match and additional funding. So thank you to Senator Scott Sandel for that. I also want to recognize Val and the rest of the team at GoEd for the collaborative working relationship that we have. You guys have been a tremendous support, and we certainly believe that benefits the rural counties that we serve. I also want to mention Sorenson Impact Center. Thank you to you guys. Your innovative spirit, partnered with our unique relationships that we have with county elected officials, I think creates a winning team that is unmatched anywhere. And I think that some of the tremendous success that we've seen is because of those unique perspectives and backgrounds that we've been able to bring together to better serve our communities. And I certainly want to recognize the talented staff who I feel very honored to work with. Patrick Mullen, Director of Opportunity Zones and Financial Incentives, and Stuart Clayson, the Director of our Regional Growth Program. When we brought those two individuals on at UAC a couple of years ago, I had no idea that the amount of dedication and commitment that they had to rural Utah and to economic development efforts across the state. And I feel very fortunate to be able to work with them side by side each day. And I'm from rural Utah, but the passion that they have for the things that can happen into reality, certainly want to say thank you to the Economic Development Administration for recognizing the work that we're doing in the state of Utah and for being willing to support this so that we can continue to have this effort evolve. I look forward to the continued collaboration and working through these partnerships as we continue to serve our communities. I think that this has been a huge win for rural Utah. It's a big win for UAC, for our members, and the entire state. And I look forward to continuing the work with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. For our visitors, I would just like to say that Utah has the best economy in the country for a reason, and that is because we know how to collaborate. We work together here as well or better than I think anywhere else in America. And this today and the Opportunity Zone program that we have here in the state is a direct result of a wonderful public-private partnership, wonderful collaboration between many entities. And when this program first came out, we chose to go to kind of the grassroots and invite the counties to submit proposals for where the opportunity zone should be. They came back and the governor then made the selections pretty much based on those recommendations. And we were then kind of like, okay, now what? You know, now that these opportunity zones have been named, what do we do now? And it became apparent that we needed someone with real expertise to help us. We started getting calls from counties saying, where's our check? We're ready for the checks to come in on the opportunity zones. And we knew that, you know, we needed somebody to work with counties to figure out how to deal with this. And that's when we put out this RFP, and the Sorenson Impact Center and Patrick came forward. We discovered this group, and one of the best decisions we ever made was asking these folks to join us and basically take charge of this program. And Stuart and Patrick and the Sorenson Impact Center, the Utah Association of Counties, have just done a remarkable job. I'm always in awe when I sit and listen to Patrick talk about opportunity. I've never heard him, when someone's asked a question, I've never heard him say, I don't know. He always has the answer. And they're complicated questions. And we really have such an amazing team. And then to see some of these projects coming to fruition around the state now, it really is a testament to what can happen when we get great bipartisan support in Congress. Representative Bishop, you know, there are a few bipartisan things that actually happen, and the opportunity zones was one of them. And so here we are now in the state. We're really excited about the grant that you've provided. This playbook is going to be, I think, a phenomenal asset to our rural communities and even beyond our state boundaries. I think people will look to, we see people looking to Utah all the time around the country asking us about our programs. I serve as a vice chair of all of the economic development leaders from throughout the country, my peers as commerce secretaries or whatever they're called in their states. And I get calls on a regular basis from people saying, what are you guys doing with your CARES Act money? We heard about this program. We want you to tell us about it. What about this program? We really are leading out in a lot of ways, and people look to us as a state that really has its act together. Finally, I want to tip my hat to Senator Sandel and his colleagues in the legislature. We, GoEd, fronted the first, that was short-term, and we knew that it would require more than that to get this across the finish line and to take advantage of it. And so for Senator Sandel and his colleagues to step up and continue to fund this is going to really benefit our state and allow us to take full advantage of this great legislation that the federal government has come up with. So thanks to all of you, Patrick, Stuart, all of you, Jeff, Brandy, and Scott. Thank you so much for what you've announced today. We really appreciate it. It's an exciting day for Utah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Val, and thank you, Brandy. We have one final speaker, but before I get to that, I wanted to recognize two individuals in the audience. We have the State Director for Senator Lee and Rob Axon. I want to join me in doing a round of applause for his office being here. And we also have Adam Gardner, State Director for Senator Romney. So we're glad to have both senators represented here. And with that, we're thrilled beyond belief to have Representative Rob Bishop here. This is his district. He's a longstanding member of Congress, and we were just thrilled that he was willing to come and say a few words. And we know that Scott is a really tough act to follow, but I think if there's anyone who has a shot in this room, it's probably Representative Bishop. So please join me in welcoming the representative, and we'll let him close us out.
You're wrong. But thank you for allowing me to say a few words so I can get my non-mandatory mask off. First of all, to all of you who are from out of state and out of the city, welcome to my hometown. I know Mayor Vincent, you may take claim to Brigham City, but I think I have a longer claim because I'm a hell of a lot older than you are. And it's fun to be able to walk down from my home to this place. To Consonology, I think this is the first time I've walked through the doors of your business, even when it was down there, that I haven't walked out with something. So I did not bring my checkbook today. Unfortunately, I have my credit card with me, and I haven't been in the back yet. So and I have a home full of your stuff. So thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. This, to me, is an exciting possibility, not just for using a historic building, but also for the kinds of things that this offers, the ability of the community to become involved once again down on Main Street. It is cool and significant. So I'm grateful for everyone who's involved with it. Scott, for getting a couple of years ago the state legislature to be involved in these opportunity zones. It's wonderful to have the university through Sorenson Impact and academia being involved in the concept of this, working with the Association of Counties, where Stan, you are still one of the leaders of UAC. And being able to come here and provide this kind of opportunity, this kind of option, it's cool. When I had that short-lived effort to try and become lieutenant governor, thank you all, it was very clear to me that rural Utah knew what it needed to do to become economically vibrant. What they needed from the federal government and the state, it's not necessarily top-down mandates and regulations, but the ability of having some resources, perhaps some infrastructure ahead of time, and some assistance to try and do what they knew they needed to do in their communities. And that was constant throughout the entire state of Utah. It's constant here as well. So I appreciate now all of a sudden the state, counties, Sorenson Impact becoming involved in this process, and that the federal government has some role in it. I think we proved that the tax cuts that we did, we learned the same lesson that we learned under Ronald Reagan and John Kennedy and even Calvin Coolidge, that an intelligent, competitive tax program can actually spur on development and get the entrepreneurial class to become involved in the process, as well as having some money that actually goes to the White House. I am appreciative for Clay Joel and Scott, Mr. Turner, for being here today and representing what the administration has done. This administration, I am impressed that I don't think any of the three that I have been involved while I have been in Congress has spent as much time with local governments, inviting counties and states to come back and talk to them and try and work in partnership with them. Not a top-down Great Society program that is full of regulations and restrictions, but actually trying to partner with what is going on. And this, thank you for being here. You're an example of it. You're the spokesman and the heartbeat of it, but this is a perfect illustration of what can be done. So I'm appreciative of the administration for doing that at this time. I'm appreciative of all of you for being here and for having this wonderful facility used again. I think I was here when it was built. And I haven't been in the back yet, so you still maybe get money out of me before this is over. Thank you all for being here, and this is cool.
Well, with that, that concludes our programming. We thank you all for being here. Thank you for those of you that joined the live stream. Just join me again in thanking both our local hosts, Dave and Donna Walker, Brigham City, Box Elder County, and most importantly, thank you to the EDA and the White House for being here with us today.